All right, everyone, and welcome to an abbreviated edition of the weekend market wrap up with myself, Michael Nauss from StatsedTrading.com. What we're going to do is go through kind of the majors, what's going on in the market. We'll do more in depth next Wednesday. I am just away at a conference, speaking at the Sticky Trades convention in Florida. All I got here is my iPad, so we're going to make do with what we got and go over some charts. Again, always make sure you're going to statsedtrading.com, sign up to the email list there. Make sure you don't miss anything. And we're starting here with Bitcoin, as always. Really kind of a do-nothing week. I mentioned in the last one that I am short Bitcoin. I was short through as we broke through 4,500 here. The idea being that the Bitcoin ETF was a bit of a flop, and there was this history of Bitcoin selling the news event. So that's the trade that I took. I've been covering a little bit on the way down, trying to hold the bulk for a bigger move. However, it looks like we're holding on pretty nicely right here and a little bit of a bottoming tail at these prior support zones. So I'm going to be watching this closely for a trade out on that one. Get out of this position, maybe even wait for a little bit of another move down. Over here on Ethereum, however, it's complete opposite, right? We had the big spike that we did have on Bitcoin, but it hasn't broken back down under the support level, and it's been holding for a long period of time. And this on the daily chart looks really, really interesting to me. So I'm actually, I have an order out to buy more Ethereum if we break out, and then again, potentially cover that Bitcoin. And the easiest way to look at this, if you go Bitcoin versus Ethereum as a trade, you can see that this just kind of tight flags going on right here. So Ethereum is really turning out to be the winner of this whole Bitcoin ETF. That's the trade I'm looking at. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's what I'm watching there as well. If we go into the dollar index, still nothing. We'll go to the weekly chart. And another little bounce. We talked about how this was potentially going to happen. This major support zone that we have in through here seems to be holding for now, and then we're bouncing off of that zone. If I take a little bit on the fly here, that's over here. If I take an anchored VWAP and I draw it from these highs right here, it's not filling in here on the mobile version, but we're pretty much right at that area. And it wouldn't shock me to see another kind of sustained bounce and then a sell-off, but I do believe at some point we're probably going to make our way through this 110 to $100 level to the downside. Each bounce seems to be kind of less fierce. So if we roll over here, then I think it could be further down here for the dollar. Really don't know where I would look. Maybe 96 or 98 to the downside, which again would be a big move. Aussie CAD is very interesting here, breaking down out of this level. Looks like this one could roll over. Maybe we retest the lows right here. And I did take another currency I want to talk about. Is I did take a US dollar CAD short off of this level on the daily chart. We talked about this last week where we have this anchored VWAP from the high, same as we were seeing in the dollar index. And we had this prior zone. If I go into the daily chart, you can see this prior zone right here where we failed from before. So when I saw on this candle break right here that we weren't able to make it through that zone, that's what the short I took here on Aussie CAD. Last but not least, I want to take a look at gold. Again, we're struggling here on gold just because of the dollar kind of move, but still stronger than a lot of things. So I am watching next week on gold. I do like how we're holding this $2,000 area pretty much to the tick. If we go into the daily chart, you can see a nice slow and controlled downtrend right here. If we end up breaking through that level, I think we could go to 21, and then maybe we try to retest this wick right here. So keeping an eye on gold. Now over to trade ideas here, where we're going to take a look at the equity markets, and we're going to start here with the SPY and just see what's going on this week, which is new all-time highs, right? And I put out a little tweet that probably triggered some, but basically to all the perma bears out there, saying new all-time highs, generally speaking, is not bearish. And we closed right at those highs, so very strong. Again, everyone who's been, I need a dip, I need something to pull back. just doesn't look like we're going to get that. And there's really not much of a reason to go through a lot of the ETFs just because a lot of them are being pulled up by this level. One thing I did want to talk about, and I know I'm beating this dead horse, but a lot of people on this natural gas pump were saying, okay, this is the low, it's time to get in. That was completely reversed and sold off all week this week on natural gas. So again, just stick with things that are trending. Right now, everything in the world is trending but this. So I want to keep that in mind. Uranium is interesting. We all know how much I love uranium, but did pull back this week against the market. So big candle right here. A lot of retracement can happen and still remain bullish, but I do want to keep an eye on this uranium play just to see if we get a little bit of a pullback and some sort of intra-week buy that I can have on uranium. Now, there's a couple stocks I'm going into next week. Again, I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of scanning, but just some names that I kind of want to point out is one is this TGTX. I like this one because where's the short float? 23% short float, and it's very interesting that it's pulled back into this $15 level. You can see we had a gap here at 15. We pulled back and tested 15. We made this big push up. And now we sold off pretty dramatically. This is a little bit more dramatic of a sell-off than I'd normally like, but we now have 4 or 5 days in a row right here at $15. If we start to break and push higher, I want to take a look at that one. We have Bowl. I just always think it's hilarious that this bowling company seems to be doing so well, but great on it. This is kind of a new issue. And you can see this area at $12 where it was resistance back here and then over here and then again over here. We broke that and we've come right back to it, and it looks like we're settling in on that breakout area. So I really like the look of that one. This is another high short float one at 22%. This is a lot of the names that I'm going over. SRRK. So this is another 20% short floater on this one, pulling back very, very nicely here, $15 or so. I think it could all the way maybe hit 13 if we're going to continue to pull back. And anything under that, I'm going to ignore it. But just looking at this one, that this 13 area is the breakout area. So as we're pulling back into that breakout zone, if we find support before then, I think that's just overall even more bullish. But I like the look of that one with its short float, and we're going to go SVV. And with SVV, this one has a 34% short float. So this one's pretty wild, and it's just been basing here for a while. I like things, and people who follow me know I like things that have dramatically risen off their lows. So we're talking $10 up to 18. So not quite a double, but almost a double off its lows for SVV. With this massive short float, I think if we break through here, those shorts could get nervous. So that's it for today. I appreciate everyone for standing by on this shortened edition with limited tech, but back in the saddle on Monday. I got some video content all lined up for you guys. If you've missed it, because I noticed a lot of people haven't seen it, go back and check out Wednesday's video, which was a review of the prop firm, the Fivers, which I actually gave glowing reviews for. I actually really, really like this one. So if you're interested in prop trading and Forex and underlying indexes, metals, crude oil, that kind of stuff, I do think they're a good one to check out. So thanks everyone for coming by, and have a good one.